This is the Power of OZmosis podcast, powered by the Vidwheel Creator Network.
Hi everyone, this is the Power of OZmosis video podcast powered by Vidwheel Creator Network. I am John Osberg and I'm sitting today with Stas Balanevsky of Sitch Solutions. We are in his office today. This is an exciting conversation. We're going to be talking, very entrepreneurial, related topics, and about really processes that can help you be the best version of an entrepreneur or a business owner that you can be. And so today's kind of like a how-to guide on whether you're just thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, starting that entrepreneurial journey, or you already are one. Again, business owner as well. These are processes. These are concepts that are really going to unlock a lot of what your business is looking to achieve in terms of growth. So, Stas, welcome to the show, my brother.
John, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming to Sitch headquarters here in the Cobblestone district in Buffalo.
Yeah. And thanks for having me. I got to say too, for our millions of viewers watching and listening to this, I've never had an office experience like this. So when I was here a month ago for the first time in the building, I've heard from Mike Davern, mutual friend, also a podcast feature some months ago now. He told me how great it is here, just the space, and then just your vibe and who you are as a professional and leader. So it was probably honestly the best office experience I've ever had with the TV's got my logo, my name, and having all this cool gear to take home, like the book sitting over there, Traction, which so many of you watching, listening, I know several have recommended to me. And I finally was able to get my copy thanks to you. So it's great to be here today and to be talking all things EOS, which I'll let you get more into in a second. But maybe first introducing yourself to the folks that are watching and listening.
Sure. Thanks, man. That's very kind words. So I'm Stas Balanevsky. I'm one of the principals here at Sitch, and I'm an EOS implementer. So I help business owners get what they want out of their business by giving them really three things. So vision, traction, and healthy. So vision, knowing where you want to get to and how you're going to get there. Traction, actually making what you want happen. And healthy in that, you have a really nice cohesive leadership team where everyone's open, honest, rowing the boat in the same direction for the greater good of the company. So
well said. How did you get into this? And EOS, maybe what it stands for too.
Yeah, so EOS is the Entrepreneurial Operating System, created by Gino Wickman, who's the author of the book Traction. Just a guy from EO Detroit that has a real knack for combining some wonderful tools that are all out there into one kind of cohesive system where it just works. Mm-hmm. As EOS implementers, we say it's very simple, it's just not easy.
Mm-hmm. Oftentimes that's the key. Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins' mentor, he's long past now, but he talks about that. The easy things are easy to do, but the easy things, or we'll call them simple things, are often easy not to do, right? So it's kind of a similar thing where there are certain things in your business that you have to do to get to the next phase, that next level, but something's standing in the way. And that's the one thing, and I'm still learning. I've rudimentary knowledge on EOS, but I'm so fascinated by it in that it's obvious to me in that first meeting we had, it was obvious that these are the keys to unlocking what your business is meant to actualize, to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Absolutely. Which is why, I'm super psyched that you asked me to be on your podcast. And, you want a real world tool. The real world tool I'm going to give you is called the Level 10 meeting. Right. And that's, Harvard Business Review did a survey a bunch of years ago, and the average score of a meeting was a 4.
Out of the 10.
Out of 10.
And that's what this is right here too. I know you can kind of see it, but it's a guide that Stas has that he's given to me and that he uses in all of his meetings with business owners, with entrepreneurs. So Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So, the Level 10 meeting is really, that's the traction part of vision and traction, right? So you have the vision, you know what you want to get to, you know what you want to accomplish, but you have 53 different priorities, and the ability to really get to the root of what you want to do and when you want to do it, that's the Level 10 meeting. So it protects your strategic time, because as a business owner, you can be locked in your tactical work forever. If you leave your door open and you own a business, there are people walking in your office every day. So you're never truly strategic.
And part of that, this process then is to allow you to unlock that so that you can be more strategic, be more tactical. I guess even I'll let you kind of open that
Well,
up, like what that means in terms of plugging into this system.
So my definitions are this: strategic is working on the business, tactical is working in the business, right? We can spend all of our time working in the business, 100 hours a week, no problem. You're just in it.
What scale are you achieving, right?
You're burning yourself out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you will.
I'm feeling that right now with OZmosis as I'm about to turn 1 year old. 1 year old. We're going to have to, anyway, offline, but sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's what it is, right? And you're feeling it. You started
last week.
Yeah.
I was tired.
That's right. So the thing that happens when you think about communication, you think about complexity. You and I talking, that's one line of communication, right? It's very simple. It's linear. You add another person, we've just added 2 more lines of communication, right? So we've added 50% more people, but 100% more lines of communication. You add another one, now we have 4 people. Now you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lines of communication. And that's where things start to break down.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm speaking under my breath. I got to make sure I speak loud enough. That's fantastic.
Well, no, because the thing that happens is, one is linear, one is, logarithmic. So you increase complexity at a faster rate than you increase headcount. So the only way you get all the circles connected without I talk to John talks to Mike talks to Stas talks to John, like that whole thing, this gets rid of it because I know every week I get 90 minutes with my leadership team, working on the business, phones away, agenda, starts on time, ends on time.
1 day a week. It's the same day, same time.
Same day, same time, same agenda. And that's what gives you the certainty, right? It's, that, Tuesdays at 8 a.m. is when I'm with the leadership team, and I know that I can connect as a leadership team. I get a good pulse on how the company's doing. I get a great pulse on how my people are doing. I understand any customer employee headlines that are out there. The accountability is absolute. It's binary. It's done or not done, on track or off track. It's very easy to manage because then you can really identify the issues before they become problems. And then we have an issue solving track called IDS where we identify, discuss, and solve issues.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
A lot of acronyms. I remember when we first met.
Tons
So
of
good,
TLAs.
But TLAs.
3-letter acronyms.
Let's go. I mean, and the beauty of that, just as a sidebar, that's something that then tags in your brain, right? If you can remember something like that where IDS comes in, it's like that instant mechanism that I'm sure through your process, folks will have that acronym. All the other acronyms top of mind, there's probably a key,
Oh yeah.
All that you can, but then once you groove it, like anything, right? You want to run, you start running, it stinks. You start to build though momentum and it starts to get easier and more natural, organic. It's got to be the same thing here with the reps, right?
100%. Anything, I forget who said it, but I've been saying it lately and I love it. Anything you're really good at right now, you sucked at one point.
So good. That's really well said. It's true. I mean, you're not just born.
Yeah.
You're just good at all these things.
You weren't very good at walking. You'd fall over, right. The whole thing.
Right.
So that's what EOS does, is it teaches you how to run it. Like, this is one of many, many tools. But for me, it's the one that really puts the rubber on the road, right?
It's traction.
Yeah, pardon the pun. But it's amazing. It's really powerful. And then you get this cadence and you get this vernacular where, like, you can have a conversation, and normally when an issue is solved, the person that brought the issue says, "I'm solved." And you see that leak into the rest of your day. So when you're having a conversation with someone, you ask them a question, they give you an answer, you're like, "Oh, I'm solved. Cool, thanks." And there's that, like, got it, understood, move on. It's just really efficient.
Well said. So level 10 meeting, Stas, we're talking about the high levels of it, around it. Let's discuss who can use a level 10. Who are the companies that you're working with and collaborating with to deliver this level 10 meeting setup structure? Who are they? And then we'll get more into what it is.
Sure. So typical company that runs on EOS is 10 to 250 employees, entrepreneurially minded. We always say, you're a golfer, right?
Yes.
We always say companies that run like a baseball team, not like a golf team. right?
You said this. Yes, this is so good.
Yeah, because if you're running your company like a golf team, you play your own ball, you keep your own score, it's all good. You can have 8 of the greatest baseball players in the world. If you're missing a third baseman, you're going to lose.
Right on.
Guaranteed.
It's a gap. It's a void.
Yeah.
It's a hole.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so that's what we run on. I have seen success with the level 10 meeting at the board level. So I sit on a board where we have a modified level 10 meeting agenda, and it's great because it keeps everybody on track, right? We don't have those meetings where it's just a 90-minute long discussion with no real resolution.
Interesting. That's what I feel like a lot of meetings have become, right? It's like there's a lot of literature out there and research that talk about like just how some meetings or a lot of meetings kind of don't really need to be there. And there's processes built to say like, is this meeting necessary kind of thing?
Well, it's really cool. Like I was talking to someone, I forget what organization, it was a government organization. She was lovely. And she basically said, I will not attend a meeting that doesn't have an agenda.
Good for her.
So it's like, that is awesome. So that's somebody that's protecting her strategic time. Right.
Outcomes, right? What's the outcome of this meeting?
Yeah, why are we doing this? Right. There's always that t-shirt or that mug that says this meeting could have been an email.
Yeah, that's so good. Now it's Zoom even too, where like the meetings are through the screen.
Honestly, I'm loving the new Zoom paradigm because the old, get to know you phone call is just so much better. Quick 15 minutes on Zoom gets it done a lot better, I think, than the quick 15 minutes on the, on the phone.
See the person, see their body language. It's not quite this, but it's close. And Mike Davern, I mentioned him earlier, he connected us, and we met through Zoom, and then we went through the process, and here we are now doing a podcast. So
right.
I do too. I think it's also in the name of efficiency too, right? Where it's like to have to drive somewhere. I know, Western New York is it's easy commuting, but still could be 40 or 60 minutes that don't have to spend in the car. You can just boom, meetings there, it's in. But it certainly doesn't beat this stuff. This is
we were one of the few companies that actually took on office space during COVID.
For you guys,
right? We've been here only since December. So
sweet space.
Thanks.
Sweet space.
Yeah, we love it.
And that's important too to what you do, your craft, right? To have a setup like this, everything's very intentional, right? You got this beautiful smart TV, whatever you want to call it. We could write on it and do all this, stuff. Maybe you show me in your office or nearby. There's like some sort of like video setup where it like converts notes. You're doing charts.
my Captivo.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh,
yeah, the Captivo camera. It's a whiteboard camera. It's awesome. So I can just share the whiteboard in a remote session.
It's so intentional, and that's at the heart of level 10. It's let's be intentional with our time and our effort. So let's dive further. So the level 10 meeting, we're all new to this.
Okay, so
that's the kind of thing I'm looking at. Yeah.
Then let me just run you through the agenda real quick. I'll do 2 quick passes. Cool. So the agenda starts with a segue. So if your meeting starts at 9:00 on a Wednesday, you're sitting at the table. It's 8:55 because I think it was Vince Lombardi that said, 5 minutes early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. At 9:00, someone says, okay, good news, everybody. And that's our segue. So we go around the table and we share a bit of personal and professional good news. Everybody shares. And what it does, it actually accomplishes 2 things. 1, it connects you as a leadership team, right? And number 2, it's sort of that psychological device that gets you from in the business to on the business. So 5 quick minutes. So it's rapid fire. You go around the table and we're just getting connected and sharing a piece of good news. Then we look at our scorecard. So that is, again, a 5-minute review on all of the measurables, which are the forward-looking indicators of performance that we've agreed are the things that we're going to look at. For example, for lead gen, it's, how many people in the top of the funnel, right? If we want 1 new deal a week, and we know that 1 new deal requires 3 proposals and it requires 10 phone calls and it requires 30 leads, then we need to see 30 leads. So we look at that and it's reporting, it's on track or off track. If it's 29, it's off track. And we, quote, drop it down. And I'll explain that in a second.
Cool.
So we go through all of our scorecards and everybody owns a number. So if you're my lead gen guy, you owe me 30 leads. If you brought in 37 leads, you're on track and we move on. And then if we're looking for a certain conversion ratio in sales, the sales guy is going to own that. And if you gave him 36 leads, but he only closed one deal and he should have closed two, then that's an issue, that's off track. Exactly. We put it on the issues list by dropping it down. Then we do a ROC review, which is ROCs are those 90-day priorities that we set at each quarterly meeting. Those are the things outside of our day-to-day job that we say, this is important to make the company better, faster, stronger, to move my job forward, to help the company. Like, one of my ROCs was to get the technology right in this office. That was last quarter. And I checked that off, and I love the way this office feels and works. And that was just one of my things. It's not my job as an EOS implementer, but it's something I love to do. And, and I had a skill for it, so I did it. So you go through ROCs and you are allowed to say on track or off track. I don't care if the dog ate your homework. It doesn't matter. It is on track or off track. Then we go into customer employee headlines. So anything we need to know about our customers, anything we need to know about our employees. Anything that requires further discussion, we drop it down to the issues list. So now you're 20 minutes in, right? You're 20 minutes in, you're connected as a leadership team, you know how the company's doing, you know how your 90-day projects are going, and you have a really good understanding of what's happening out in the marketplace, right? So that's that's connecting and reporting. Then we go into accountability. So 5 minutes recapping to-dos from the previous week's meeting. We're looking for a 90% complete rate, and we go through the to-dos, and it is done or not done. Done, good, thank you, as expected. Not done, down to the issues list. So now we're 25 minutes in, and now we have a healthy issues list. Some issues we didn't tackle last week that weren't the most important issues, plus all of the off-track measurables, all of the scorecard items that we need to talk about, all the ROCs that are off track, all the customer employee headlines that require discussion, any to-dos that weren't done. We have this soup of issues, right? 30, 45 seconds. We say, okay, top 3. And someone says, I really need issue 14. This was really important to me. Oh, let's IDS issue 15. IDS is identifying, discussing, and solving the issues. So we pick the top 3. We look at issue 1, and we say to the person that brought the issue, okay, 1 sentence, bottom line it for me. What's the issue? And you can say, I don't know, we're running out of money, right?
Sure.
Then we get into really identifying the issue. Okay, wait, we're running out of money. What does that mean? Does that mean that people aren't paying their bills? Does it mean that we're not selling enough? Does it mean, what does it mean? Oh, it means,
source.
Yeah.
To the source.
We're not selling enough. Okay, why aren't we selling enough? Oh, there's a competitor in the market that's really eating our lunch. Okay, why are they eating our lunch? Well, they have this new product and it's much better. Great, what do we have that would compete with it? Well, we don't. Why not? Well, we don't really have R&D. Okay, so the issue isn't we're running out of money. The issue is we don't have R&D. Do we all agree now that that's the issue? People say, oh, yeah, that's the issue. Great. Now we try to solve for that issue. Try to solve for what that is. Brainstorm, come up with a solution, and the outcomes of IDS are to-dos, other issues, or messages you need to cascade through the organization. So you and I agree, we need R&D. You say, I need an R&D budget. You say, great, what do you need? You say, I don't know, start me with $50,000. I need to go tinker with stuff. Great, we all approve. We say, okay, finance is going to approve that budget. Marketing is going to do this. So-and-so is going to do that. Everything gets done. We record the to-dos. You say, I'm solved. We move on to issue number 2. We solve issue number 2. We solve issue number 3. We pick the next 3. And we do that for 60 minutes. It is possible we won't solve a single issue in 60 minutes. We still stop.
I love that. Have some rigidness.
You have to. Well, because otherwise that meeting cascades into other meetings. And then, that's the meeting. That's the 90-minute meeting that lasts 2 hours. No.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. That's it. 100%. Sometimes you'll get through 30 issues in 60 minutes.
Depends, yeah.
Yeah, you get really good at it. You fly through stuff. Then, with 5 minutes to go, you stop. You recap the to-dos. So we'll say, okay, you have these 5 to-dos. Are you clear on them? Yes, I am. I'm good. I remember what they came from. I have my notes. I'm good to go. Any cascading messages that need to go out through the organization, this, that, the other thing, rate the meeting 1 to 10. We're looking for at least an 8, We want it to be a level 10, and anything under an 8, we need some constructive feedback. So if you say, I give it a 6 because I felt like we didn't really IDS, or I felt like I wasn't really heard, or I felt like we squirreled around a lot, that's how we work on it and become better and better at running these meetings.
Is it a weight question, sidebar? Is it a weight, like waiting system? Not waiting, but are you, say it's 10 people in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking the average of them? Like, so say, okay, so it has
Equal
to be an
force.
average of 8, or else.
No, we want to get, that's a great question.
Everyone has to be 8.
We want to get an 8. So if we're going around the table and
10
people are
people.
like 9, 9, 8, 9, 6,
Wait a minute.
stop. Why the 6?
I love that.
What
Because you don't
happened?
want to bypass
No.
the 6. If you can bypass it by averaging.
Yeah,
But if
no.
you don't average, you immediately stop at the 6. Well, let's talk more.
Yeah.
That's what
Mhm.
it is.
That's right.
Wow.
And then, if it was a 9 o'clock meeting at 10:30, you are pushed away from the table and you're out the door on to work in the business.
Another follow on.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with leadership and adopting this and taking this on? Because I'm gonna go a little further, but that's the question. I gotta think that, because a good leader, right? It's an inclusive, safe environment where it starts with in my opinion, it starts with your people first, right? Like, wait, we got a project, we got a task, a problem, whatever. It's not, we have this issue or whatever it is, this opportunity. Here's my thoughts as the CEO, whoever, right? Because then you taint the room,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so often you hear that, people are disgruntled with their leaders and managers and stuff like that. Like, how is this received? The question I guess I'm asking for is like, is this, let me distill it to this. Does this help address leadership issues?
It does.
so-
It brings them to light. This is one piece of a very large pie, right? Because EOS is actually 6 key components that all come together. This is sort of the 6th key component. These are the sprinkles on top of the cupcake, right? But what we see is people that are afraid of accountability. This smokes them out. So does this fix problems? Yes. Does it bring problems to light to then be fixed? Oh yeah. So, because here's the way this works, right? Here's a scenario. You and I are working together. I have a to-do. It's not done. It ends up on the issues list. The next week, we look at the to-dos. My not done to-do is still there. It gets added to the issues list again. Still isn't the
way
most...
to track that the frequency then? Is there a way to track that? Like, this is the 4th time this issue's arrived on this list kind of thing?
It would sit on the list 4 times. So the software that we use, it's called 90.io, but you can use Traction Tools, EOS One. There's a bunch of different, you can use an Excel sheet,
Sure.
right? There's 50 different ways to keep track. You can print out an agenda every time. But what happens is we'll notice, wait, like that thing that I was supposed to do, I didn't do. It's on the issues list again and again and again and again and again. And then you can say, I have another issue I want to talk about. I don't think you're doing your job. Or what do you need help with? Because you're not getting your to-dos done. I've been underwater and I've had to-dos stack up at a level 10, and someone on my team will say, hey buddy, like, everything all right? I'll say, oh yeah, I've got a lot of sessions. I'm totally underwater. I shouldn't have taken all of these to-dos. Now I'm letting the team down. And it's usually listen, everybody gets a pass occasionally. If it becomes a habitual problem, that's when you start to have a conversation about, well, what are your accountabilities? What are you able to accomplish really? Right? Like, what do we have to delegate and elevate?
And this reminds me of is it a boat reference where you talk about the right people in the right seats kind of thing? Something that's a reference I remember you saying.
Right. Yeah. Right people, right seats. That is the people component of EOS. So we determine the right people by people that align with our core values. So during our process, during Vision Building 1, which is sort of the second full day meeting, it's one of these lofty up in the sky kind of meetings. And we talk about our core values. We talk about what makes, I can tell you exactly what makes a Stitch person, right? We start with the end in mind, no reptiles. So we attack the problem, not the person. We help first. We do what we say. We have a little bit of fun. Like, those are our core values. And people that come to us, that work with us, they have to meet for those core values all the time. And one of them most of the time. And we're just making a determination if there are people or not are people. This isn't a good or bad, right? So that's right people. And then right seats, another acronym, GWC. Do they get it, want it, and have the capacity to do what they're supposed to do in their seat on the accountability chart? So the accountability chart has their roles and responsibilities, right? So if you're a lead gen guy, one of your responsibilities is make a promise to the market and generate demand. And if you're not particularly good at doing that, you may be a right person, but you'd be in the wrong seat. I think what you were talking about was the water line.
Yes, that might be it.
So that's all about decision making. So when we start, remember anything we're good at now, we were terrible at before.
Yeah, we talked about it before we started recording.
Right.
That's good.
So
love it.
So everything that we IDS when we start, we IDS everything. Like, hey, what are we doing for lunch tomorrow? Because we just want to build that IDS muscle, that's right? It. We want to get really, really good at it.
I love that reference. Then
we start to pull back. We start to say, this is an expensive meeting, right? Don't bring me $100 problems. Bring me $1 million problems. And what we say is an above the water problem versus a below the water problem. So if you imagine the hull of a boat, it sits in the water, right? So if it's a problem above the water line, if you get it wrong and you get a hole in the boat, you're not going to sink the boat. It's better for you to just make that decision, break the thing, fix the thing. It's all good. It's above the water line. It's not going to sink the company. If it's a below the water line decision, you better bring it to the level 10 meeting and say, this is an important issue. This is a below the water line thing for me. I know my job. I know I'm doing it well. I have an opinion on how to solve this, but I think I need my whole team here. I need the whole leadership team to maybe identify a blind spot or two.
Right on. And that's, what was I going to say? To have those perspectives and those experiences come in where, we're all different, right? You're going to see something different than I do, and to have that collaborative piece come together, that's fantastic. That really is. Is there anything additive to this, to level 10, to the process that is important for the folks listening, learning about this?
Yes, absolutely. The net effect of this, because everyone without fault without exception, says another 90-minute meeting. Are you out of your mind? What this does is this eliminates at least 3 times as many meetings, because you and I are on a leadership team, right? Like, let's say I'm chief sales officer, you're chief marketing officer, we have a chief finance officer. We need to do something in the sort of sales and marketing world that's going to make the company better and faster and stronger. Right. I can have a conversation with you. We can make some decisions. I can have a conversation with finance. We make some decisions. We come back to you and you're like, that's not really what I want. So this half-hour meeting, that half-hour meeting, that half-hour meeting, this half-hour meeting, that half-hour meeting, undoing 2 of our half-hour meetings. Mm-hmm. At your leadership level 10, 5 minutes. So what happens is people start to hold their questions. They don't pop into the CFO's office to run something by him and then to run something by their ops people and then to run something. They don't. They just hold it all in. They throw it on the issues list. Oh, I've got this thing that I want to talk to John about. Put it on the issues list. It's there. It won't be forgotten. And if it's one of the top 3 most important things to discuss that day, it'll get discussed. So now I have a 90-minute meeting, level 10 meeting, lasts 90 minutes once a week, and I solve everything that's critical to my business. So this gets to the level of anything that's smoldering even. Stuff that's on fire, you need to put the fire out.
Right.
But if you get really good at this, the stuff that's kind of smoldering, just throw it on the issues list. It's fine. We'll get to it. It's not going to kill us.
Right. I love that. Just the rigidness and the discipline and the accountability are what really get me going. And really, that's something that I've talked about, the process, right? Something I'm still learning how to inject into my life. And this is just so process driven.
It is.
And when you build that process, right, it becomes that, it's almost innate over time. When you're process driven and you do it enough, it's just, and it can help solve the inefficiencies.
Yep.
So this is almost like the antidote to one of the pieces, right? There's a lot of good that derives from this, but it's almost like the antidote for the needless meetings. By having the process that you inject more than just the 6th piece, but all the other 5 that lead up to level 10 that allow for just a more efficient. When you're more efficient, you can do more, right? You can grow more. If I'm running and my VO2 max is high because my body can pump, oxygen into my blood at a more efficient rate, I can go do more, right? And same for this. So it's like when you're not spinning your wheels all the time, you can start to focus on what needs to get done. And usually the things that need to get done are the things that are going to help elevate and grow your business. And so the title, full circle. Where do we find you, Stas, and your business? How do we connect?
Sitch.solutions that's our website, /traction for the EOS practice. I'm also on the eosworldwide.com site as an implementer. There are 2 implementers in Buffalo, myself and Jim Wardlaw. Jim's the one that brought me into EOS. Awesome guy, great implementer. 2 of us in Buffalo, and we help companies grow. So,
and LinkedIn too.
LinkedIn too, of course.
Of course, good on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then let's see how good my recall is. Is it 413 EOS implementers around the world?
Yeah.
Is it 413?
413. Well done, sir.
Go. I remember when you said that, I was like, wow, the entire world is 413 412 of what you do.
Yeah,
super
right.
Cool.
No, it's great. And, we as implementers are all about help first. So if anyone has a question, this is one of the core values that we have to adhere to. And it's not like a forced adherence to it. It's you either have it or you don't, which is what's so cool about the community, right? So we have a quarterly collaborative exchange coming up in a week or 2. And I can't wait to, get in front of a whole bunch of other EOS implementers. It's kind of funny when there's a couple hundred of us in a room.
I love that. Share philosophy, styles, experiences.
We're all different, and
perspectives.
But we all have that same sort of driving force where we believe in EOS, we believe in the power of people, and we believe in help first. And if we can help, we help. If anyone ever wants any coaching on a level 10 meeting, I'm happy to do it. Makes me better at coaching it, helps me, helps them. And this is something that you should, any company that has more than 2 people, you should be having this level 10 meeting.
Right. And just as a note too, I'll make sure to, as always, to have the links discussed in the show notes. And then this will wrap everything up. I've been doing this with my podcast, so I'm curious, not to put you on the spot, and you can take a second to ruminate, but what is it that keeps you going, right? So what's your fuel source? One of my favorite things to say is keep going, right? With anything, with working towards your dreams, your aspirations, it could even be just getting that next foot in front of the other, fitness wise, or just get to the next day. If you're going through a tough time, just keep going. What is like, there's probably multiple, but what is like something that comes off the top of your brain that's a source for you that keeps you going, Stas? I've
been an entrepreneur since I was 13 years old, right? So entrepreneurship is in my blood. I mean, family, and I love entrepreneurs, love working with entrepreneurs. So what gets me up in the morning are session days, right? Like a leadership team in this room, watching light bulbs go off, watching, people learn and create and connect and make their companies better, faster, and stronger. It's an absolute rush. It's so much fun. Like I'm doing an EOS implementation for a buddy of mine. I've known him for a long time, and I'm helping his company. And he sent me a text that said, "This is the best day I've ever had at work."
That's amazing.
It's like, wow, that'll keep me going for a year.
It's impactful, man.
Yeah.
You make an impact.
Well, you're a golfer, right? You hit that one great golf shot and you're like, all right, I'm coming back.
Yeah. It just feels good. Even if you hit 3-4 bad ones before that, you get that sweet spot for all the golfers listening, watching. I mean, it's so true.
Or 106 bad ones, but you hit one good
final one, right?
That's
right.
I'm
back in tomorrow. I will say too, another way to say it is to, something I say when people ask me what keeps me going. I don't think, in my opinion, there's anything better or greater than to watch someone manifest or actualize their own unique greatness, right? Their life greatness. To see a person go from here as a 20-year-old, where maybe I'm mentoring them, someone's mentoring them, and you're empowering them, you're educating, you're enlightening them so that they can keep learning, keep iterating. And then you start to watch that process where their graph, I think it was you that you said the hockey stick growth, right? I think that's another thing I remember.
Oh yeah, but with ceilings, right? You hit a ceiling, and inevitably you're going to hit a ceiling because growth is nonlinear.
Right on. But to see that path, like you said, best day ever, that's all part of that journey of actualizing the goal. Again, for me, it's actualizing our own, whether it's for a company, a community, organization, or person, our own unique greatness. We all have it in us. It's a matter of finding it, identifying it, and then starting to become just viscerally aware of it, I should say. And then just every single day, like when I asked you what keeps you going, that's something that's right off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps, go through a tough day, it's there. Even if it's in the background a little bit, it's still there for you. That's going to allow you to get to the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year.
100%.
Because you got to actualize it.
Yep.
Cool. All right, man. Well, level 10 meeting. You heard it here first. EOS. Thank you, Stas, for being here.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Being on the show and letting me host here in this beautiful space. And as always, my gratitude to vidwheel Creator Network for being my podcast partner, my friends there, and supporters. So until next time, we'll see you on the next segment. And again, this was a great conversation, all things EOS and level 10.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Stas.
Appreciate it.